Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Atul and you are watching DevOps Lab IT channel. In the last session, this is the third lesson, and the last session we have learned about some practical implementation of pod. What we already discussed, what is pod, how we can work on pod, and why we needed a pod. Okay, so let's move toward practical implementation. Let's see what all we'll be learning about, and let's check CTL get nodes. So again, this is again the one where we having a three nodes: master, worker, worker 01 and worker 02. Okay. So let's see whether old pods are there or not. CTL get pods. Okay. There's nothing. Okay. So in the lecture, this one. Okay. So what we learned in case if we wanted to create a pod, the terminal only itself, so without YAML file, so we can give the name in the terminal itself and image equal to Nginx. So Kubernetes will understand that we have to run a pod with the name of web server. So any name we can give and we can create a web server of pod with a Nginx image. So you can see it is created. Now you can see kubectl get pods. I have to know why. Where it is created in worker 02. Okay. So web server one by one. So one by one is already important that I already said. So this is the way how we wanted to create. Okay. And suppose like in case if we are not interested in this way, so we have one more way, like in first is a command way, second is a YAML way. So most of the time you have seen your colleagues, they are just writing some command, getting a YAML file and they are applying because either they wanted to make some changes or they wanted some YAML format like kubectl apply. So I'll show you like how we can run. Okay, so this is the way how we can do. Kubectl run and the second part image nginx hyphen this one and a hyphen equal to client. So first of all, you see. So what it does. So this dry run means we are just ran the command, but actually it is not read. But in case if we wanted to check any syntax error and all, then it shows like dry run. Dry run equal to client. So means we ran on the client side only. The command is not running on server side. So this we are client. So this machine is a client and it is not reached to Kubernetes server. Kubernetes and so this is again the same one, but just dry run we ran it. So okay, and hyphen o YAML. Okay, so you see by this command we are able to get and all the YAML file. So the same kind of command we'll be using when we want to create a deployment, whenever we wanted to replica set or maybe some more resources. But what this one will give kubectl run pod name image engineering. So what it gives a YAML. Now I wanted to move this one is pod pod new dot YAML. So what will happen? Whatever this content will be moved to a YAML file. Okay, now let's read it. Pod new dot YAML. Okay, so now what we can do? We can simply whenever we used to create a YAML file, but this time YAML file was created by Kubernetes and given to us, and we moved it to a one YAML file. Now let's apply this one, right? kubectl apply hyphen f. We can see pod is created. What's the name? Second pod. So this is again what the name, what we have given. What are the name we have given? It added in name. So it means whatever the command you will be giving, it will be converted to YAML file. So in the YAML or maybe JSON format, whatever we can keep it. And so let's check kubectl get pods hyphen o wide. Okay, so now second server started on worker 01. Okay, So hope this clear, like we can create a YAML file, and in case we can edit, in case we wanted to create a third pod also, how we can do? Okay, like CP, this one, yeah, PHIR third pod dot YAML. Now, now what we can do, we can simply add it and we can write here name of this pod is third pod. So what we have done, see, and so why YAML file is important? YAML file is important because there are too many things. In case if we wanted to change the image, Nginx, we can simply create the Nginx. Okay. So in this way, how it will be important? It is important in such a way. So okay. So now kubectl apply kubectl apply hyphen f third pod dot YAML. See, third pod is created. Third pod is running, and this is gone to worker 02. Okay, so this is all about YAML file, how we can create a YAML file. Let's move toward the next one. Okay, so there are two commands, create and apply. Okay, so create will be using initial way. Suppose whatever the command we have created, or maybe a YAML file we have created, it's a new one. So at that time we will be using create and apply in case if we wanted to make some changes, like instead of nginx we want busybox. Then at the time we'll be applying the changes with the help of apply only. Okay. Now we see kubectl get pods. Okay, so the pods which are running in default namespace. Okay, and what is hyphen hyphen all name space. So this is a namespace. So here earlier we seen the pods in my own namespace. There's a default namespace. I will be working on default namespace now. In case if I wanted to see how many pods are available in other namespace as well. So my namespace including all other namespaces. So this is again hyphen all namespace. Or secondly, we can type hyphen capital A. Hyphen capital A means all namespaces. So you can see there is no difference. Everything will be coming, everything will be popping up with the help of hyphen A. So this one gives a clear idea about the pods in another namespace also. Okay. Next point, the next pointer will be moving toward this one. So suppose a case our Netflix is a one we are managing, and whenever we see it's something like when we see about the pod. Suppose we are just arriving and we are seeing Netflix we have to manage. So Netflix we are managing and the entire world is using. So what we can see, and in case if we see Cube still get ports, maybe 3000 ports are there. So in case if 3000 ports are there, which one is yours? So there may be 10 multiple applications which are added to Netflix and one side is given to you or maybe one service is given to you. Now when you see Cube still get port 2000 and you will be working on one service with maybe 50 ports in which you are responsible. So you can see like these pods are kind of small fishes and which there are multiple fishes are available, multiple pods are available inside the Kubernetes ocean. Now, how you will be doing the changes or how you can find out which one is yours? And suppose the services in which you are working, so you wanted to delete all pods. So what you'll be doing, so you have to run some query, find this pod and delete this pod. Find this pod and change the image from Nginx to Nginx 1.82. So these kind of queries sometime we wanted to run, and first of all, whenever we are fetching the data, select star from table name. So what will happen? It will go to entire Oracle or maybe MS SQL. It will be going to entire one and fetching out the data. Which one? Table 01. So here we are also doing the something, so same thing, like we have to find out what is relevant. So let's assume the case. So we are adding some environment. Let me keep this one in here so that it will be easy for us to understand. Okay, so at the time, what we are doing, okay, so here I like it's a kind spot. So again, we already discussed about the pod, and these images are again the older ones. So what we are discussing about label, we are labeling pod with some key value pair. Like as I said, an example, when John is a boy, which is again there are too many football guys, football players there inside. He is clapping and just watching the match, but we want that boy, John. So we are giving the name. Hey John, you can come inside. So here we are giving the name. So again, the same thing inside the prod. Inside the pod, there is a label. So we are giving a label. So there may be multiple pods like this one. Okay. So suppose a case where we having a multiple pods like this one. Like suppose environment equal to prod. So we wanted to apply. Suppose we wanted to apply script where we wanted to change. So some changes are working, and in case if we wanted to apply some changes via a script that find out environment equal to prod and increase the memory of pod from 8 GB to 15 GB. So this is the way like how we will be selecting the pods. So when we write the command like kubectl get pods where environment equal to kubectl get pods, environment equal to prod. So only three pods will come. So suppose there are 2500 pods. Now it's again difficult, and out of 25 environment equal to pod there may be 25 pods. So in one's ocean there are multiple pod, multiple applications are running, but we have to find out the pod and run some fire some command on it so that some changes will be happening. But on environment equal to prod, or maybe we have to increase the CPU from 1 to 2 where database equal to, or where maybe database equal to. Okay. So in this way we can apply some logic, and out of that outcomes, and what last my last example what I was giving, suppose just fetch out all the pod which having Red Hat 8 or maybe Ubuntu OS or maybe some different OS. So again, we have to write a query and fetch out all those pods and again apply some more queries. So in this way, we will be applying some pods. Okay. So let's move to a practical implementation. How we'll be making them. Okay. So here, what we have done labeling environment equal to dev. So environment equal to dev, what it means, like we are just giving a label. So whenever environment label dev prod, dev pod. So it's a development prod. It's a development pod. And sometimes we can, in the same way, we can create is like production pod or maybe staging pod, something like that. We are using image and name equal to web01. Okay. So now let's first check it. The detail we wanted arrived on. Now tail apply hyphen f and this guy. So this pod is created kubectl get pods hyphen o wide hyphen show hyphen LABELs to labels. So here we can see environment to with the help of show labels. So what are the labels we are given? So in the same way, what we can see, John. John, please come from basketball court. So in the same way we have given here with the label. So what is the label we are giving? And on behalf of its label, Let me create one more pod where environment equal to prod. Okay, then we'll try to find out kubectl apply hyphen f and this one. Okay, now we can see. So environment is common here. So like database is common or maybe OS. So OS either equal to 7 or Red Hat 7 or Red Hat 8 or Red Hat 9. So one key usually we are keeping as similar only. Now see, in case if we wanted to filter environment equal to def. So how many hyphen L nv equal to def. Okay. So we can see like how many pods are arrived with environment equal to def. Now let's see environment equal to prod. Only one. So in case if we apply, so it is something like filter we are applying. So we are going in the entire ocean and we are finding pods with our own type. What the pod? In case of this one, in case if we write awk command and we wanted to print this one, so only this will print. So in case if we wanted to print the pod which is having environment equal to prod, so only this pod will come, other pods will not come. And further we can apply some more, or we can move these pods. Suppose there are 15 pods, so we can put all 15 pods inside the text file or maybe Excel file and we can process further. So, and suppose we wanted to delete the pod where environment equal to prod. Okay, so kubectl delete pods hyphen l v equal to prod. Okay, so environment equal to prod. So now this one is deleted, prod, nothing. So what we did it, we deleted the pods which having environment equal to prod. So this is again we deleted. So in this way we can do, so this now I deleted the pod and the same way we can apply some more queries. So we can find out the pods and we can change the image from Nginx 1.8 to 1.9. These are the basic examples I'm giving so that again, what is the reason of fetching the data and how we can fetch out. Okay. Still our environment equal to dev still exists. So we can still find out the pod. Okay. Now let's move toward the next one. Okay. Now, now we learned how to move towards like the pod. And now we suppose, as I said earlier, okay, so as I said earlier, what are pods? So pod is again like a mini computer or microcomputer in which we can run some command. So is it possible like we can go inside the pod and we can fire some command? Yes, it is possible. So let's move inside the pod and fire some commands. Okay, let's move inside the dev command. Dev server, environment leveled, dev pod. Okay, so what I'm doing in the very first pod, I'm going. So this command is basically used when we wanted to go inside, and this is a which shell you want. So I wanted to go. So whenever we are logging inside the server and wanted to run some script or some commands, some shell we wanted to use like bourne shell, bash shell. So there are too many shells are coming. So I'm focusing on bash shell. So this again a way where we are running the command. And in case if so exec means execute. I means here I means interactive. Okay. I means interactive and T means terminal. Okay. So what we are saying Kubernetes execute in interactive terminal and this is the pod name and we can go toward a bash shell of it. so that I can fire some commands. Okay, let me move forward. I pressed Control D earlier, so it was not working. Exec IT dev pod. Hyphen POD. Okay, so where it's you see like hyphen hash. Like hash means we entered inside the mini computer. So now inside, in case if we type whatever we type like ls hyphen lit is now I'm not inside my master Kubernetes node. I am inside the pod, which is which pod in this one. So in the same way, we can enter inside here. In case the pod will be supporting bash, then we can go inside, or maybe what is the shell supporting. Let's date number. Okay, ls hyphen lit. So these many files are available. So I mean to say, whenever you're entering inside the computer or maybe inside the Linux box or maybe Red Hat, so you're finding able to. So this is again, you can see a small mini computer where the basic libraries are used. Basic libraries are used to run the pod. And it doesn't having a very huge set of libraries. Only basic libraries are there. In case if we wanted to install something, we have to install inside the image. Image, and we have to use that image instead of Nginx. We have to use that image. Okay. And a small, in case if you make some changes here, in case if you keep some data, in case a pod dies, then that data will be corrupted. Till that time we'll be adding a additional external volume. So for the external volume, I created a separate section or make a separate section, separate chapter where more than 5, 6 videos are available. And that is very important topic, volume. That name is section name is volume, and it's very much important. Okay. So here in this way, this is a mini computer. Coming back to our point, this is a mini computer where you'll be able to run fire all the commands, whatever possible. And here all commands won't work because of in case if you want to run telnet, so it won't work. Reason being because telnet is not installed. So you have to type yum install telnet. Some in this way we have to make some changes to do some addition, then only it will work. Because again, these are this is like been basic libraries. In basic libraries, everything is not available by default, so you have to make some changes and you have to utilize that one after installing someone. Because example, the same thing in a Linux box also, Red Hat 9, everything is not pre-installed. So you have to, in order to use them, so you have to install some binaries or you have to install some packages. Then only we will be able to use that Red Hat 9. In the same way, we have to use, in order to use the pod, we have to install something because everything is not by default installed. And in case if we think like every should be installed, then again you can see like pod size will be too heavy, and we want pod is called as a lightweight process. Pod is always used for lightweight process. Again, it's coming. You can see like in case if I wanted to run 10 pods at a time, so 10 pod will be available in a very in 2 3 seconds itself. So how it will be happening because they are very lightweight. They are simply a thread with it running with basic libraries and basic OS. Okay. How to move it forward? We have to just press exit and run simple kubectl. Okay, so again it is running. So we were entered in this spot, and in the same way we can enter anyone. kubectl exec hyphen IP and pod name, third pod, and this one hyphen slash bin slash bash. We are entered. Date ls. Okay, so in the same way exit. We can enter inside the pod and we can run some commands. So in the same way, like what we are doing, we are entering our whenever a portrait comes with some image. So a base image will come on the base image of OS. We are adding our application code and we are creating a final image, and that final image pod will be using. So what will happen whenever a pod create, it will be launched with the image, customized image of our application, and it will be coming from outside. Like maybe suppose we are running Netflix on the pod, so people or users they'll be running our application which is running beyond the load balancer in the back end. These pods will come, so pods will come and go, come and go, come and go in this way, like our process will be executed. Okay, let's move forward. Next one that we already covered. Okay, so one is cube system. Okay, so let's again, first of all, kubectl get ns. Okay, so you can see this one, a kubectl get ns. So this ns cube system. So cube system is default namespace by which administrator is using, or maybe Kubernetes is using. So let's see how many pods are there. Kubectl get pods hyphen n cube system. Cube hyphen. Okay. So here what I'm checking only pod which is relevant to cube system only. That is system namespace, or you can say. So never ever try to delete any of the pod, because you can see the name is coming as a Calico, etcd, API server, kube controller, kube proxy, kube scheduler, metric server. Okay, the reason being, in case if you delete any of the pods, by fortunately or unfortunately, your chances of Kubernetes cluster performance degrading will may happen. So never try to delete any of the pods, and don't try to touch this namespace till the time is manually told and you are able to understand. Yes, I'm able to work on the namespace and I'm able to do some tasks. Then only touch the system, else don't touch the system. Okay, so we have too many to CTL get pods hyphen o white. Okay, so right now it is like two pods, four pods are there. Two are running in worker 01 and two are running on worker 02. So sometime what we have want, like maybe we wanted to evict the node. Evicting the node means we have to put worker 02 in maintenance mode. So worker maintenance mode means pods are running. So first of all, we are checking like how many pods are running in worker 02. Then we have to apply. In case if too many pods are running, we have to think and plan our details accordingly. So we have to run some command by which we can find out what is running in worker 02. Okay, so 02. Okay, so field selectors like spec or node name. So what will happen in case proofs it will get pod and field selector what we selected spec.node name. So there are too many things, like instead of this one, apart from that there are too many things like RAM we can find out. We can find out the CPU usage. So there are many, too many things. But Mm. So here sometime we have a requirement to check whether how many pods are running in order to get the details. So here what we can do. So here two pods are running. So here what we are giving worker 02. So this is specific command which we can with the help of field selector with worker 02. So there are too many things for like kubectl. First of all, before moving, we can get in the this formation also kubectl get wide and grep worker 02. You can see this command is also applicable, but this command is won't be able to perform when we have a long query. So this is a very small command by which we can get it, and we can get some detail about worker 02. Okay, so we can grab also, it's again we can utilize our Linux skill in it and we can work on it. Okay, sun kubectl ctl stripe pod and suppose start. Okay, so how it find out like spec.node name. So we can find out here where spec.node name is written. Here we can see. Okay, so here we can see, when we see here what it will be seek like spec dot node name. In case if we wanted to check some other details, spec dot label. So again, it will also come in. So right now we are interested on spec dot node name. So all the pods with respect to in this one comes in. Now let's move forward. kubectl, describe pod and pod name. Okay, you can see here spec dot node. So here also we can apply is in case if you want something like what is the IP. So we have to go in a dedicated segment and you have to find out the detail. So this again will be coming. I'll be showing you how to do in some more section. But again, we can fetch all the details, including the event here. Okay. So now what we learned about it, like pods. So we have seen one pod having a in this one. So what we learned about one pod having a one container. And it's not like a mandatory like one pod having a one container. So one pod may have multiple container, but it's recommended not to create multiple container inside the one pod. In case if you have more requirement, create more pod like pod A with one container. So we can create, so we suppose we have a requirement of two containers. So it's not like this container to be merged here. We will be creating a two pods, pod A and a pod B and container A and container B. So never try to merge this one. But what I wanted to teach you in case if we having a three, four containers inside a pod, how you can work on it. Suppose somebody is in your interviewer ask like we having a one pod with three containers. You have to go inside the second container and list the content. So how we will be doing it? So first of all, I wanted to show you a small one. Okay, so this one. So what this does here, I wanted to show the concept like what is like three containers. So there are three containers. This is container one, container two, container three, and first container with Nginx, second container with BusyBox, third container is with Redis. So different images I have taken, and once we take different containers, so it means in one pod. So pod name is three container pod. Its name will come as a three container pod. So let's move to a practical implementation and let's run something on container one. In the same way, you can move forward. kubectl apply conf kubectl get pods hyphen o void hyphen w. Okay, so hyphen w means it will be watching the pod. Okay, so here what we are seeing, three container pod, cp get pod. In case if we give individual name, it will be showing the detail about individual pod only. Hyphen u wide. So what it does is three containers. So you can see here 3 by 3 and it's running. So 3 by 3 means 1 by 1 we have earlier we have seen 1 by 1, but this is the only way where we have seen 3 by 3. 3 by 3 means 3 images. It's having a 3 container with 3 images. Okay. Now in case if we coming, we are just now watching the 3 by 3 and in case we wanted to pass it, how many images are there? So we can run this command. Okay. So we can see here. Okay, so this container one is doing what? So this container having how many images? Container 1, container 2, and container 3. Okay, so so in this way we can easily find which container I wanted to go. So one having Nginx image, second having box, and third having a Redis. Suppose a case we wanted to go inside the Nginx and run the command. Okay, so here container 1. So what we writing kubectl exec hyphen id. This report is the pod name and hyphen c. Hyphen c means which container. Hyphen container 1. In case if we wanted to enter container 2, then container 2. In case we wanted to 3, then move inside 3. Okay, and the same one, but hyphen C and this one will also be writing, and let's move and say now we're writing date command. So where it executes in container one. Okay. So so in this way we can okay, so in this way we can see like the date command we can enter inside the pods and we can fire some commands. So at least we will be able to understand like what is running in this container or what is running in this pod. So there are too many things running inside the pod, so we have to find out. Okay. Let's move toward what is there. Okay, so there in earlier section, what we have done here, we entered inside one and we ran a date command. Now there are some ways by which we can directly run some command inside from outside itself. It's not like we need to go inside and fire some command. Okay, so you can see in the three, this is a pod name and where we have to run this command in container one because again shell will not be coming inside the pod, it will be coming inside the container. In case if we are not defining container 2 and 3, then default shell of simple container will come. Okay, and you can see date also printed and the same date is just printed. So we can run some here, some any command here. Instead of date, let's try ls. Ls comes in. So again, it's a mini computer, but in this pod also there are multiple containers. Which containers we wanted to go inside and fire some commands. Okay, so okay, so here let's check about. Okay, so this is the path cube cache. Let's go one by one. Cube. So this is the cube is the folder where our config file is there. So you can see this is again the main config file and there is also cache folder. So we go inside the cache discovery and then master our master node. Here you can see what is there. So initially what I said in this path of discovery, we can see the batch apps. In case if you go inside the apps, then V1, whatever is written, it will come. See V1 category. Okay, let's move inside a batch one. So what is written? Batch V1. So here in the same way, we can go inside any one. So what is written inside the policy? Policy one. So what I mean to say, whenever we are writing here, we wrote here policy equal to V1. So here API version, it's a V1. Okay. So sometime we'll be writing apps colon V1 or apps or maybe batch. So everything what it comes in case if not is working, so whether you can check here in case if policy is not working or in case your jobs are not working or what, then we have to say come inside whether this is available or not, or maybe somebody deleted. Because these were given, these all folders were given by Kubernetes only. It's not like we have installed. So it comes when we install Kubernetes. Okay. Now let's move toward still explain pod. Okay. So this is again a nice topic. kubectl explain pod. So in case somebody is interested, like what is there in the pod? So definition is there, like explain pod, metadata, spec. So everything is available here, like describe fields. What are the kind available? Kind is a string, metadata, specs, and status. Okay, so now move forward. This is again I wanted to show since starting. What with some resources? So let me just put it in and later on we'll describe it. Okay, so initially what we have seen a pod, but pod, how pod? Like they're coming with n number. Suppose a pod started on worker 02 having 4 GB of RAM. Then when it starts, there may be application and application consume more RAM. So initially it started with 200 MB, but later on it started to consume 3.5 GB. Then our original node will be in trouble. So what we'll be doing, we are defining a limit, lower limit and upper limit. So this is called as lower limit and this is called as upper limit. So our server will not go, our pod will not go beyond this limit because in our node we have to think. Suppose a new cluster is onboarding or new application onboarding. So we are going inside the node and we are checking whether this is allowed a new cluster which having a 50 pods are coming with 1 GB, whether we are able to onboard them, absorb them or not. So in case if we have the detail like this pod will be taking this amount of memory or CPU, then only we can plan accordingly, else we won't be able to plan so that any pod can take any time. Okay. So it having like for the detail one limit a special topic with respect to this one I already created, but for the safer side, just I'm sharing to you. Maybe somebody is going for interviews in the middle. So kubectl apply -f. Okay, so this one is created. Kubectl describe. First check kubectl get pods. Okay, so resource limited pods. This is resource limited. Okay, now let's describe this one. pl describe pod and this one resource limited pod. Okay, so we can see here itself like what all the so CPU is memory is minimum it require 20 and what is the minimum means without 20 MB in case if cluster doesn't having a 20 MB then this pod will not start, it came in a pending state. Memory like 40 MB is the maximum one. So in case if this pod try to take more memory of 40 MB then this pod will be killed by Kubernetes. What it say, you are eligible for 20 to 40. You can take any number of memory. You can take below than 20, that also fine. But your limit to stay between 20 MB to 40 MB. In case if pod go beyond 40, then OOM will come. OOM means out of memory. A detailed video I have created for OOM in the below topic. So you can go in the bottom side and you can check OOM. And OOM is again how to create. I have given the practical implementation. I have shown like how I've created designed the pod in such a way so that it asks for more memory and it will be killed by Kubernetes. So go in the my last section of the videos and you can be able to get it. Okay. So I hope okay. So and in case if we need to find out what are the resource limited, you can buy this pod. You can see this is for CPU and this is for memory. Okay. So minimum and maximum, you can see here we can run some commands. So again, once you start, then you'll be able to come to know like how to apply some more commands, how to apply commands and some more commands and append some more commands. So here what we learned here, apart from that, the pod name and JSON path. So we are adding something in the backend so that we can. So here we are getting CPU and memory, lower limit and upper limit. So we can write some more queries whenever you would be becoming hands-on, then you can get like how to apply some commands. Okay, so in this section, what we have covered, we have covered too many things, included limit, how to check the ports, how to check ports in our namespace, how to check ports in kubectl namespace, and how to check the ports in all the namespace. So too many practical implementation is we have done, and few many practical sessions will be coming in coming section. A small request I requested from you side, like you share my channel with your colleagues, your friend circle, and hope you enjoy the session. Have a lovely day. Bye bye. Take care.